Hey guys, welcome to the channel. As you see in the thumbnail, what if Luffy gets Robin pregnant part 1. Before I start, please do support for more awesome content and subscribe my channel and like this video. Let's start this video. Somewhere in the Grand Line on the Sunny, the Straw Hats doing their antics as ever. Luffy playing tag with Chopper, Zoro sleeping in the crow's nest, for him was making snacks for his lovely Nami-san and Robin-chan, drinking cola, Brook playing his violin, Nami is navigating for a new island also eating her mikan. As for the beautiful archaeologist Nico, Robin is reading her novel and sipping on her cup of tea. The crew were heading off to an unknown island. Zoro. Oi land ho, we are almost near an island. Luffy. Adventure. Nami. Alright, who will stay on the Sunny? Frankie. I'll stay on the Sunny. Nami. Okay, those who are going to be in teams pick your partner. Chopper. I pick Usopp. Usopp. Okay Chopper. Brook wanna come? Brook. Of course you ho ho. Nami. Okay, I remember, get enough things of what we need. Everyone returns to the ship at sundown. Luffy. Oi Zoro, join my group. Zoro. Oi I'm coming. Sanji. I'll follow you and protect you Nami-san. He swooned over her with a heart in his eye. Nami. Thank you Sanji-kun. Robin for coming with us. Robin. No thank you Nami-san, I'll go with Captain-san and Swordsman-san. Nami. Okay then sundown, everyone remember that. The Straw Hats got into Team Nami, and with her, Usopp had Chopper and Brook with him, stayed aboard the Sunny to keep watch. Luffy, Zoro and Robin were going. Luffy. Man, can't wait for adventure. Zoro. Bet you can't huh Captain. Robin just smiled at her Captain and Swordsman. Robin clutched her chest and she felt this warm feeling in her chest. She felt warm herself when she glanced at her captain. Her entire body felt warm. She said in her mind, Luffy. She wondered herself about this new feeling coming over her. Luffy. What is that? A boar or something? Robin was snapped out of her trance and saw what Luffy was talking about. Zoro. Looks like one. Luffy. We should get it and cook it. Zoro. Mind if I cut it? The swordsman said, pulling half his swords out. Luffy. No. I'll hit it. The boar heard the two proclaiming to get him. With that being said, the boar made a run for it. Luffy. Nuo. Come back here. Luffy ran after the oversized pig. Zoro pulled his swords out, getting ready to get the pig before Luffy, but was stopped by the raven-haired archaeologist. Zoro. What gives woman? He glared at the archaeologist. Robin. I want a word with you Swordsman-san. Zoro. Whatever it is, begin talking. Robin. You're always close to Captain-san, so I want to know if he is interested in women. Zoro looked dumbfounded by her question. As he raised a brow he said. Zoro. Well, it depends on if Luffy is interested in women. How would I know if he is? Try asking him yourself. Robin's face had a faint blush, her were shading pink in embarrassment. Before Zoro had realized, he looked even more surprised of her look. Zoro. Don't tell me you have feelings for him. He stared at the archaeologist in disbelief. Robin. I do, she said with gentle voice. Zoro. Well, it's about time something like this happens. He smirked at her. This was too good for Zoro. Nico, Robin and Monkey D. Luffy together. He smirked at this new information. He couldn't wait till he slammed this information up in Sanji's face. In fact, he couldn't wait till the whole crew knew about this. He wondered what would happen if Luffy knew if Robin had feelings for him. Luffy. I'm back. Luffy said in unison. He caught the pig. Zoro. On ice, you got the pig before me, he said in a deadpan tone. He glanced at the archaeologist, then at Luffy. He did his best not to smirk and tell his captain about Robin. Robin. Good hunting Captain-san. Luffy. Thanks Robin. Robin smiled at her captain once again. Zoro. Well, we better get going. We're supposed to meet back at the ship by sundown. Luffy. Oh yeah right. Robin. Well, let's go. As the three got ready to take their leave to the ship, Zoro took one more glance at Robin. Zoro. Well, what are you going to tell him? He whispered. Robin was thinking about that, but she thought of an idea on telling Luffy her feelings for him. Robin. I got a way to talk to him about it. She whispered. Zoro. Alright. Everyone had reached the Thousand Sun. Everyone got a few supplies for the ship. Nami. Okay, everyone back on the ship. I've drawn a map to this island and picked Mikans. Chopper. I've picked a few herbs for medicines and antidotes. Usopp. I've been gathering fruit and a few things for my weapon. Sanji. I've bagged some spices and ingredients. Luffy. I've got us a boar. Sanji, will you cook the boar? Sanji. Okay, I'll cook it. Nami. That's good that everyone got some supplies. Let's ready the sail and take off. Nami. Frankie, ready the ship. Frankie. On it is. As Luffy was going to sit at his favorite spot on the Sunny, Robin had followed the boy captain. Sanji went to the kitchen to prepare dinner for everyone. Usopp was telling Brook and Chopper stories. Nami herself was going to take her shower. Zoro for his part was going up the crow's nest to rest. Before he did that, he glanced at Robin. As she was following Luffy to the head of the Sunny, he had smirked and went up the crow's nest. Luffy laid back watching the sky. He glanced at Robin when she came to him. Robin. Captain-san, mind if I sit with you? Luffy. Sure, why not? He said with a grin. Robin giggled as she sat next to her captain, blushed a little sitting next to him. Luffy. The sky looks great, doesn't it? Robin. It is great, Captain San. Robin. Captain Sani, have something I want to tell you. Luffy. Nah. What is it, Robin? Robin. Captain San, do you like me? Luffy. Huh, of course I do. Yours. Why say something like that? The rubber boy said in confusion. Robin. Well, I've been wanting to express my warmth for you. Luffy. Robin. Luffy, when you saved me from Enies lobby, I felt loved that day. You risked your life to challenge the world government to protect me. Why did you do such a thing? Luffy. Robin, I did that because I care about you. You are my treasure. You are my treasure. I will protect you with all my life. Robin smiled at her captain as she crawled up to Luffy. Robin. Luffy. I love you. Luffy. You do, Robin. Well, if you say so, I love you too. You're the Pirate King's treasure. He was cut off by Robin's lips, pressing her lips up against his. Usopp came up to the head of the Sunny, checking Luffy. Usopp. Oi, Luffy wanna play with Chopper? And when the sniper came, he couldn't believe what his eyes saw. Usopp's jaw dropped to the floor when his gaze was on his best friend and archaeologist. They looked like they were ing. Usopp. The sniper screamed, getting the crew's attention. Everyone stopped doing what they were doing and ran to go see why they were screaming. Were the Marines chasing them or pirates? Nami. Usopp, what's wrong? As she came and the rest of the crew that followed her. Everyone screamed in unison. Straw Hats. What the heck? They saw their rubber captain and archaeologist ing each other. Sanji. Luffy, you rubber fool. What are you doing to my Robin-chan? Nami. What just happened? Zoro just smirked when he knew about this. Usopp's jaw dropped to the floor. Frankie blinked a few times. Brook could only stare. Chopper eyes widened. Robin broke the Luffy and just fell on the ground, speechless of what happened. Everyone just stared at the pair in shock. It was impossible. Luffy and Robin together. Robin. My. Luffy. Robin. Robin. Yes, Luffy. Luffy. I think I love you. Robin giggled. Robin. So Luffy, this means we are together. Luffy. Oh, I think so. Robin giggled. Robin. So funny, Luffy. Everyone let out a loud HHHHHHHH. Seeing this, Zoro couldn't help but smirk looking at this. Sanji. Luffy, you rubber idiot. The enraged cook went to kick Luffy until Chopper, Usopp, Frankie re-stained Sanji. Luffy. Well guys, this got everyone attention, waiting for him to continue. Luffy. Robin and I are together. He gave out his goofy grin to his crew. They could not believe that the only person who knew was Zoro. Who would have thought that Nico Robin was in love with Monkey D. Luffy? Robin. Captain San, what do you want to do? Luffy. Well, I guess a date maybe. Robin smiled. Robin. Should I get ready for it, Captain San? Luffy. Nah, guess so, with a confused look on his face. The crew could only look in shock at this situation. Robin. Well, Captain San, guess I'll get ready, she smiled as she walked away. Luffy for his part went to go get himself ready by putting on his suit, the suit from One Piece Strong World. Robin took a nice hot shower getting herself ready. No one couldn't believe this. Frankie. Wow, Luffy bro dating Robin. Usopp. The sea is a mysterious place. Nami. Yeah, you're right, it is, the orange-haired navigator said in a sad tone. Zoro looked at Nami in interest and saw she had a sad look on her face. Sanji. That rubber idiot. The cook muttered. Robin for her part was done with her shower as she threw on her elegant purple sparkling dress and brushed her hair and sprayed perfume on her. She had put on one silver bracelet on her left arm. Luffy had gotten himself done as he waited for Robin to come out of the women's quarters. He looked nice for this date. Right when the door of the women's quarters was open, the crew looked in wonder to see a beautiful raven-haired archaeologist as she walked out the women's quarters. Luffy just stared at how wonderful Robin looked. Frankie just blinked at how beautiful Robin looked. Nami just glanced at Luffy but turned away. Sanji had a heart in his eye looking at Robin. Zoro smirked as he glanced at Luffy looking at Robin. Brook played his violin playing a song for Robin. Usopp. Wow, Robin. Topper smiled as he saw Robin look nice. Luffy. Robin, you look amazing. Robin. Thank you, Captain San. She said in a gentle voice. Luffy put on his straw hat. Zoro. Well, where are you guys going? Luffy. Well, out to dinner, of course, somewhere fancy. Shishishi. The crew jaws had dropped. They never heard Luffy thinking of going somewhere fancy before. Luffy. Oi, Nami, can you lend me some money? Nami. Sure, Luffy. Usopp. When are you guys coming back? Robin. Good question, when, Captain San? Luffy. In the morning we are going to a hotel. Nami had giving Luffy and Robin money. Sanji. Oi, Luffy. You better not do nothing to my beloved Robin-chan. He yelled at the rubber captain in an angry way. Luffy. Alright, Sanji. Robin just giggled. Luffy just took hold of Robin's hand and escorted her off the ship, saying goodbye to his crew. The crew except Nami said their goodbyes to Luffy and Robin. Nami for her part excused herself to the women's quarters. She looked like she was on the verge of tears. Nami cried her eyes out talking to herself. Nami. Why didn't he take me out? Why did he choose Robin to date with? She yelled while she was crying. As Robin and Luffy went off to their first date, they went to look for a fancy restaurant. Luffy wanted to impress Robin and surprise her. Luffy holded Robin's hand nice and easy. All Robin did was smile at her. Captain. Robin. Captain San, look, there's a fancy looking restaurant. Her and Luffy glanced at the fancy restaurant. It wasn't like the restaurant worked in. As Luffy and Robin both walked in the fancy restaurant, the restaurant had a bar with tons of sake and booze, plus lots of waiters and waitresses. A few customers were there too. Some were pirates, some were regular people. A waiter was nearby Luffy and Robin. He greeted himself and escorted them to their table. As soon as he got them to the table, he pulled out a little handbook and pen, going to ask for their order. Waiter. What would you like to order for a young man in a straw hat? Luffy. I'll order 50 pieces of meat and just meat, sir. Waiter. Okay, drink, sir. Luffy. Some booze, sir. Waiter. Okay, mister, what would you like to miss? Robin. I would like grilled salmon and rice. I would also like a drink of green apple tea, please. Waiter. Okay, miss, anything else you two want? Dessert? Yes. No. Luffy looked at Robin. Robin returned a smile to Luffy. Robin. Yes, dessert please. Waiter. Okay, what would you like? Luffy. Ice cream sundae. Robin. I want the same thing. He wants also cheesecake. Waiter. Okay, your dinner will be ready and dessert. Robin. Thank you. Luffy. Thanks. As they were waiting for their dinner, their drinks came first. They were going to chat to one another until their food was done. Robin. You know, Luffy, I never thought you would do all this for me. Wonder what made you so gentlemanlike. Normally you would be goofy like always. Can you answer that? Luffy. Well, I thought I wanted to be a little serious about this and didn't want to embarrass you on our first date. The boy captain said in a worry-like tone. Robin, however, giggled and said, Robin. Luffy, you don't have to be someone you can't be. I like the way you are now. I like how you're so careless and love your antics. That's the monkey D. Luffy I like and love. Luffy just gave her his signature grin like off his wanted poster. She just smiled back at him. Robin. That's the Luffy I like. The waiter had appeared to their table and brought their food to them. Waiter. Dinner is served. The two started praying and began eating their food. Luffy was eating like he always does while Robin was eating ladylike. It had been 20 minutes later and their dinner was over. The two lovers were eating dessert. Now Luffy was eating his sundae while Robin was eating a sundae and fed Luffy a piece of her cheesecake. Now it was time to pay the bill. Luffy and Robin combined their money and gave tip the waiter $900. The two left the restaurant and walked on the streets to go somewhere else for fun before they went to spend a night at the hotel. Meanwhile in the sun. Usopp. I wonder how their date is going. Frankie, probably a super date. Brooke. Yo-ho-ho-ho, Luffy-san and Robin-san having the best time ever. Sanji. Hope that rubber idiot doesn't do anything to my precious Robin-chan. I swear if he does I'll kill him. Zoro. She's not your Robin, she's Luffy's. Sanji. Shut up, Mosshead, I didn't ask you. The cook wanted to kick the swordsman. Chopper. Hey, where's Nami? Usopp. Yeah, where is she? Sanji and Zoro stopped their fight. Sanji. Maybe she's taking a shower. Zoro said nothing as he glanced at the women's quarters. He noticed something was wrong with her. Nami had been in the women's quarters for 3 hours in her bed with tears rolling down on her face. A knock on the door was heard. Nami perked up as she heard someone knock on the door. Nami. Who is it? As she wiped her tears, Zoro opened the door and glanced at the navigator. Nami. Zoro. What's up? Trying to hide her previous sadness. Zoro. Nothing, is there something wrong? Nami. No. No. I am fine, really. In a nervous tone the orange-headed woman said. Zoro see that she's lying. Zoro. Oh really? Why are there tear streams left on your face? Nami. Zoro. I see what this about. Nami flinched. Zoro. It's about Luffy and Robin, is it? Nami sighed in defeat. She had to tell the truth. Nami. Yes, it's about them in a sad tone. Zoro just looked at her. Nami. I'm just jealous that Luffy picked her and took her on a date. I just want to know why. Zoro. I'll tell you that. Nami stared at the green-haired swordsman. She waited for him to speak. Zoro. When we went to go get supplies for the ship, Robin had told me her feelings for Luffy. Zoro. So she wanted to know, was Luffy interested in women? It seems to me you have feelings for him too. Nami looked down on the floor as she remembered Luffy saving her and her village from Zoro. Want me to tell him for you? Nami. No, forget, just face it, I can't take him away from her. Zoro. Alright then, he turned his. Nami just thought about it. Nami. I will have to talk to Robin, she said in thought. Meanwhile at amusement park, Robin and Luffy were walking around eating cotton candy together, riding the teacups, took photos, and rode the roller coaster. The two were having fun. Now Luffy and Robin were sitting on a bench. Luffy had his arms around Robin as she fed him cotton candy. Robin. Luffy, this was the best date ever, I enjoyed myself. Luffy. I know you did, Robin. He gave her his childish grin. Robin returned him a smile. Robin. Luffy, I love you. Luffy. I love you too. The two ended and got up, heading off somewhere else. They were going to the hotel and going to sleep. Luffy and Robin were on their way to the hotel and spend their night. They entered the hotel and asked the clerk for a room. Clerk. Why hello, welcome to my hotel, how can I help you? Luffy. Oi old man, can we spend the night here? The clerk glanced at Robin and Luffy as the two were holding each other's hands and said. Clerk, well, I see you two must be a couple. Robin. Indeed we are, clerk-san. Clerk. Well, I'll give you guys a room right away. Make yourselves feel right at home. The clerk said in a proud way. Robin. Thank you, clerk-san. Luffy. Yeah, thank you, old man. The clerk bowed to the two and showed them to their room. The clerk led them to their room and said. Clerk. Need any room service for you two? Robin. No thank you, clerk-san. The raven-haired archaeologist said in a gentle tone. Luffy. No thanks, old man. Clerk. Alright, call me if you need anything. The clerk left the two alone. Luffy for his part changed into his boxer shorts and hung his suit up on a door hook. Robin for her part was changing in the bathroom, putting on her white gown to sleep in. Robin walked out the bathroom and sat on the bed while Luffy was out on the balcony looking at the stars in the sky. Robin followed the boy captain and was behind him, putting her hands on his shoulders. Robin. The night sure is young, isn't it, Luffy? Luffy nodded. Robin. You know, Luffy, you know you will have to take care of me now that we are together. Luffy. Right, Robin. Robin glanced at the stars. Robin. It's just like yesterday when you saved me from that tomb in Alabasta and forced me to live. The memory came from Robin. The memory was when Luffy saved her from the tomb in Alabasta. Luffy picked up the cobra, then walked towards Robin and picked her up as well. Luffy. Okay, let's go. Robin. Hold on. I no longer have a reason to live, just leave me here. Luffy glanced at her for a second, said. Luffy. You're coming with me to do what you want once we're out of here. Robin was defeated at this and said nothing. The memory ended. A new memory came from the lobby of the Judgment Tower. Luffy. Robin. Say you want to live. Robin was crying a bit looking at her captain. She screamed out. Robin. I want to live. Take me with you to the sea. Luffy grinned and said. Luffy. Alright. The memory ended. Robin now had tears in her eyes, remembering those memories of the time Luffy saved her twice. They were tears of happiness. Luffy. Robin, why are you crying? Robin. I'm crying because I'm happy for all the things you have done for me. You saved me from the darkness I had ever since I was alone for 20 years. You gave me a place to live, gave me friends, something I never had in 20 years. Now you've given me love. I'm happy for all you did. You saved me from crocodiles, the tomb, CP9, and the world government. Luffy. I did that because you're my dad. I'll never let anything happen to you, Robin. I will protect you with all my life. Robin. Oh, Luffy, she smiled at Luffy, hugging him. Luffy hugged her back. Robin. Should we go to bed? Luffy. Yeah, we got adventures to do tomorrow. Robin. Right, and Luffy, I want you to see me at my cabin on a sunny afternoon. Luffy. Okay. Robin. Let's go to sleep, Pirate King. She gave him a seductive smile. Luffy. Shy Shishi. Pirate Queen. The two lovers got in bed and slept. In the morning the two woke up and got ready to leave the hotel. They both said goodbye to the clerk and went on their way to the Sunny. At the Thousand Sunny, the crew still waited for Luffy and Robin to return. Sanji was cooking breakfast for the crew, smoking his cigarette while cooking. Zoro was in the crow's nest training, lifting weights. Brook was playing his violin for a morning song. Frankie was sitting back drinking his cola. Topper was in his doctor room reading medicine textbooks. Usopp was fishing and he glanced at the head of the sun as he wished Luffy was back already. Nami for her part was taking a nice morning shower. Zoro walked out his training room and took a look out. He was leaning on the railing as he saw Robin and Luffy out in the open. He smiled and said, Zoro. Hey, Luffy and Robin are back. This got the crew's attention as they ran to the entrance of the ship. The first one who got there before them was Dot. As Robin and Luffy got in, the sun was in front of them. Sanji. Robin CHWAN. He had a heart in his eye before he was going to swoon at Robin. He glanced at Luffy's hand locked to Robin's hand. He burst into flames at Luffy. Sanji. Luffy, you moron, what are you doing to my Robin CHWAN? He had fire in his only eye. Glaring at Luffy. Luffy ignored Sanji as he and Robin walked past him. Chopper and Usopp screamed out, Luffy. Luffy. Oi. Chopper and Usopp. Chopper. Luffy, we're glad you're back. Usopp. So Luffy, how was your and Robin's date? Robin. Our date was fun, we had such a good time. Zoro. I can see that. Frankie. Luffy bro, did you and Robin did something? He smiled. Luffy blushed a little, so did Robin. Luffy. Well guys, let's go on an adventure. Straw Hats, yeah. A little later on, the Straw Hats were at sea going to a new island. Luffy had came to the women's quarters where Robin was. He knocked the door. Robin. Come in. Luffy opened the door and came in. Robin. Ah, it's you, Luffy. Luffy. You wanted to see me, right? Robin. Yes, since we are together I thought that we should wear these. Luffy. What are those? Robin. They are our waistbands for our love. We will wear these till we get married. My Pirate King. Days later, after Robin and Luffy's date. Everything was changing for the Straw Hats. The crew had been watching Luffy and Robin together. Luffy would sit at his favorite spot on the sunny. Robin would be there joining him, holding his hand. She brought books over to read him, some that she read like Rainbow Mist etc. Those kind of books, some were boring and some were fun to Luffy. The crew could only look in shock as all of them were hiding behind the couple watching the moment. Usopp, can you believe this guy's Robin is reading Luffy a book? Chopper. Yeah, it's not like Luffy at all to see him interested in a book. Frankie. Luffy bro sure is different now. Zoro could only stare at the two lovers for a moment and yawned. Sanji. Rubber moron took my Robin Chuan away. He slumped over and cried. Nami just stared. Brook just laughed and did his signature dot. As the couple were getting up, the crew hurried up, going back to doing whatever they were doing before they got caught. Luffy. Oi. Usopp wants to play. Usopp. Why sure Luffy. As Luffy and Usopp went to do some antics, Chopper joined them. Robin for her part excused herself to the women's quarters to read a book as a orange-haired navigator was following her. Nami. Robin. Robin. Yes, Miss Navigator. Nami. Can I talk to you in private? Robin. Of course I miss Nami. The two ladies went into the women's quarters. Nami. Robin. Robin. Yes, Miss Nami. Nami. Look how much you really love Luffy that much. Robin. Yes I do. Why? Nami. It's just a tear fell from Nami's eye. Robin's eyes widened as she realized why Nami was crying. Robin. I see. Nami jerked up, realizing that Robin knows. Robin. You like Luffy as well, do you? Nami. Yes I do, but listen Robin. Robin just stared at the orange-haired navigator. Nami. I know you love him and I know he really loves you, but I am happy that you two are together. I'm not jealous or anything, besides I love Luffy like a sister. He's a little brother to me, that's all. Robin. Miss Nami, I am sorry. Nami. You don't have to be sorry. Robin. Robin. Are you sure about this, Nami-san? Nami. Yes. Robin. Okay then, we are cool about this. Nami. Yes we are. Both ladies went on about their business. Dinner was 5 minutes later as the crew were eating at the table. Luffy was eating like usual. Robin was next to him, feeding him some of her scraps she had left. Midnight, everyone was asleep except Luffy. He was on night watch. Sitting on the head of the sun looking in the starry night. Robin woke up a little moment ago and walked out the women's cabin to go use the bathroom. As she got done with the bathroom, she was going back to the women's cabin. Before she did that, she glanced at Luffy sitting in the sun staring at him. She wondered if she could go over there and see him. She went towards Luffy. Luffy was still staring at the starry sky as he had his straw hat covering his eyes. Robin. Luffy. Luffy turned his head and glanced at Robin. Luffy, Robin, it's you, he smiled. Robin giggled. Robin. Yes, it's me. Luffy. What brings you out here this late? Robin. Not much, was going back to sleep but wanted to see you. Luffy gave her his childish grin. Robin came close to Luffy and sat next to him. Robin locked her hand on Luffy's hand. Robin. Luffy, I love you. Luffy. I love you too. Robin had the rubber captain as he returned it to her. In the morning was a beautiful day, nothing but seagulls flying and chirping. Sanji was cooking breakfast for the crew as he called everyone names. Sanji. Oi. Breakfast is ready. The first ones that made it to their table in breakfast was Usopp, Chopper, and Nami. Normally the first one would be at breakfast was Luffy, but he wasn't there. 3 minutes ago Frankie, Brook, and Zoro came in for breakfast. Only two people who were missing were Robin and Luffy. Usopp was the first to speak. Usopp. It's strange not seeing Luffy here for breakfast and wonder where he is. Chopper. Yeah it is. Brook. It's not like Luffy-san to miss out on breakfast. Usopp. You're right, Brook. Zoro kept a smile on his face as he glanced at the ceiling. He knew where Luffy was. Sanji. What are you smiling at? Zoro. Oh nothing, well I'll tell the truth anyhow. Everyone stared at the green-headed swordsman in wonder. Zoro. You know, I woke up in the middle of the night and saw Robin with Luffy last night. She stayed with him all night, I think. Everyone's jaws dropped as everyone glanced at one another. 20 minutes later Robin and Luffy had got up from their sleep and went to breakfast. The crew glanced at the door and saw both Robin and Luffy coming in for breakfast. The two lovers sat next to each other and ate breakfast like nothing happened. The crew had sweat drops formed on their foreheads looking at the two. Robin. Is there something wrong, everyone? Straw Hats. No, not at all. Luffy. What's up guys? Usopp. Nami. Excuse me for a moment. I'll go check to see if we are near an island yet. Nami excused herself, going to the deck of the ship looking at her logbook. For Luffy and Robin's part, they got done with breakfast. Luffy. Well, I'm going to my favorite seat on the ship. Robin. I'm reading a book. The older woman said in a gentle tone. Both the lovers left. The crew had sweat drops formed on their foreheads. About 3 hours later the crew were still doing whatever they normally would be doing as usual. An island was ahead of them with a village etc. Nami. Island ahead. Luffy. Awesome. Let's get going. With a huge grin on the rubber captain's face. Sanji. Who will stay in the sunny? Zoro. I will. Sanji. Course you would, Mosshead, you would be asleep by the time we get back. Zoro. You say something with swirly brows. Sanji. Shut up. Mosshead. The cook yelled at the green-headed swordsman with shark-like teeth. Nami. Sanji-kun. Zoro. Enough. Sanji. As you wish, Nami Swan. He swooned over Name with hearts in his eyes, doing a noodle-like dance. Nami. Everyone picks a partner and gets enough supplies for the ship, okay? Luffy. Robin and I are going. Robin. I'll accompany Luffy. Kiss Nami. Nami. Alright, who else? Frankie. I pick Brook. Usopp. I pick Chopper. Sanji. I'm staying with Miss Nami-san. Nami. Everyone pick their partners, so let's get going. We return by sundown. The crew docked their ship and got on the island going to the village. Nami and Sanji went to a paper shop so Nami could get giant pages of paper to make more maps and buy more ink. Sanji for his part brought seasonings and spices, plus ingredients for cooking food. He also brought food. Frankie and Brook went to the cola shop so Frankie could buy tons of cola and parts for the sunny day. Brook brought music sheets and a new violin. Usopp and Chopper went to a tool shop so Usopp could buy more tools and dials. Chopper brought medicines, antidotes and band-aids for his doctor's quarters. Now for Robin and Luffy. Robin and Luffy were going to a clothing shop. Luffy. Oh, why do I got to go in the clothing store with you? It's boring. Robin giggled. Robin. Maybe after I'm done I'll treat you. This got Luffy happy. Luffy. Really? In a happy tone. Robin smiled and nodded. The lovers went in. Luffy sat on a chair waiting for the raven-haired archaeologist to get done with the fitting room. Robin was in the fitting room trying on this new blouse. It was a purple one, knowing purple was her favorite color. The next thing she tried on was blue jeans with a summer short-sleeved shirt, plus sandals with flowers attached to the sandals. The color of them were violet. The last thing she tried on was a capri jean short similar to Luffy's jean shorts, and a purple vest with buttons on it, and a pink flower on the left side of the vest's chest. The flower was an attachment. She looked exactly like Luffy wearing what he was wearing, but the outfit she was wearing had a different color. Not too long ago, Robin walked out the fitting room to show off her new outfit to Luffy. Luffy glanced at Robin and saw how nice she looked in that outfit. She was trying to match him. Luffy. Wow, you look amazing. Robin. Thank you, Luffy. She smiled. Robin had paid for all the outfits she brought and left the store to treat Luffy. Luffy and Robin were in a restaurant. Luffy was eating and thanked Robin for treating him. She just stood there smiling while drinking her tea. The cook of the restaurant glanced at the two lovers and said, "Cook. Are you guys pirates?" Luffy. Yes, we are. The cook picked up a wanted poster of Monkey D. Luffy and Nico Robin. Cook. Are you Monkey D. Luffy? Luffy. Yes. Cook. Cook. You guys, there's going to be a storm here. Waiter. Really? Cook. Yes. Robin, guess we should tell the others. Luffy. Luffy. You're right. It was almost sundown. The crew made it back to the sunny and was getting ready to sail. As the cook said there was a storm coming up, Robin had warned the crew. Nami. Everyone tighten the ropes to the sails. We are taking off. Straw Hats. Yosh. They did everything to keep themselves safe from the storm and the wild waves of the sea. About 2 hours later, the crew left and sailed in the storm. As the crew tried getting things set, a wild wave hit the sun, rocking the boat. Luffy, Robin, Zoro, Sanji, and Nami were on the deck of the ship checking and fixing the sails and tightening the ropes to the sails. Frankie and Usopp were preparing the coop to burst. Chopper and Brook were inside. The sunny. Nami. Frankie. How's the coop to burst going? Frankie. Almost done, sister. Nami. Nami. Okay, Sanji, turn the ship around. Sanji. On it, Nami Swan. Sanji turned the ship around. A hurricane was coming at the crew. Zoro. Hurricane at 2 o'clock. Nami. Crap. Frankie. The coop to burst is ready. Everyone. Hang on. Nami. Hang on, everyone. Everyone hanged on to something so they won't get blown away in the hurricane. The sun blasted off, but the hurricane rushed at them as everyone screamed when the wind from the hurricane was really high. Robin got blown off the ship till Luffy stretched his hand out to reach her, but he got blown off the ship too. The sun got out of the storm and hurricane. The Straw Hats were dancing around happily as they were safe and alive, but something was missing. Zoro sensed this. Zoro. Hey. Where's Luffy and Robin? Everyone stopped doing what they were doing and screamed, knowing that Luffy and Robin were not on the ship. Before everyone realized what happened to the two. Nami. Oh my god. Luffy and Robin got blown off the ship. Sanji. No, not my Robin-chan. Usopp, Luffy and Robin gone. Zoro. Don't be absurd, they can't be gone. The crew screamed louder as they screamed. Straw Hats. Robin. Luffy. A day later, after their separation, Robin and Luffy were washed up on an unknown island. Robin was the first to wake up. Robin. We've been blown off the ship. Robin glanced at Luffy. Robin. Luffy. She walked over to the rubber captain and tried waking him up. Robin. Luffy. Robin. Luffy. Luffy didn't say anything, he was knocked out. Robin knew what to do that would wake him up. Robin. Luffy cooks and cooked a meal for you. This woke Luffy up. Luffy. Food where? Robin just giggled. Robin. There's no food Luffy. Luffy sighed and said, Luffy. Where are we? Robin. I don't know, maybe a island. Luffy. So we are lost then. Robin. Looks like it. Luffy, let's get moving and see if there's a village on this island. Robin. Right, let's go. Meanwhile in Marineford. Sengoku. Garp. Garp. What's Sengoku? Sengoku. That grandson of yours has really gone too far. Garp. Okay, and in a dumb tone. Sengoku glared angrily at the old vice admiral and said, Sengoku. Your grandson has caused the government a headache. Garp stared at Sengoku. Sengoku. On top of everything that kid has done, he defeated Crocodile. The memory flashed where Luffy defeated Crocodile. Sengoku. He declared war on the world government and defeated Cipher Pole 9, CP9, plus invaded Enies lobby. The memory flashed where Luffy invaded Enies lobby and defeated the leader of CP9 Rob Lucci. Sengoku. He even defeated another warlord Gecko Moria. The memory flashed where Luffy defeated Moria. Sengoku. Your grandson has caused enough trouble. Garp just bellowed a laugh. Sengoku just stared at the vice admiral in an annoying way. The fleet admiral slammed his hands on his desk. Garp looked up. Sengoku. Garp. This is serious. Garp. Aha. Ha. Ha. Sengoku relaxes. I know my grandson is troublesome. Sengoku. Sengoku. I wish to know why you didn't capture him or kill him at Water 7. Garp. I let him get away in a dumb way, he said. Sengoku. I knew that his face was pale. Can't depend on you to do something. Garp. Sengoku. Remember, Luffy is my grandson, I don't want to kill him. Sengoku. Of course you would say that. In a deadpan voice. Sengoku. That's why your son is already the world's most dangerous man. Garp said nothing as he was reminded about his son. Monkey D. Dragon. Sengoku. This conversation is over. I was cut off by a marine officer. Marine officer? Fleet Admiral Sengoku-san. Sengoku. What? Marine officer? I have an urgent report for you, sir. Sengoku. Let me hear it. Marine officer. Sir. As he saluted to his commanding officer, CP9 leader Rob Lucci is out the infirmary, sir. He's on his way to Marineford as we speak to see you, sir. Sengoku. Is that so? Marine officer nodded. Sengoku. Well, now we'll be expecting to see him. Marine officer. He'll be here in another hour. Sengoku. Thank you for the report, soldier. The marine officer saluted and walked off. Sengoku. So Rob Lucci is back on his feet. Garp. That can't be, shouldn't he be down after all that beating Luffy did to him? The old vice admiral said in thought. Garp. From what I heard, Luffy broke every bone in Lucci's body. Sengoku. Correct, but I heard his comrades went to gain money to pay for Lucci's injuries and bills. Garp gave out a low growl. He hated Cipher Pole. Meanwhile on the island with Robin and Luffy. It was getting dark as the sun was setting. Luffy and Robin had to find a place to sleep for the night until morning. The two will find a village somewhere on this island. Robin. We will have to find somewhere to sleep. Luffy. Luffy. Yeah, guess you're right, and find some food. Robin looked round to see where could they camp at. Luffy looked around and caught a nearby cave. Luffy. Oi Robin, look, a cave. Robin. Perhaps we should camp there for the night. Luffy. Yahoo. Let's make a fire first. The two walked in the cave as they saw how big the cave was. It was all dark and damp, but it was better than nothing. Luffy went to the jungle to break down a few trees for firewood. Luffy. Gum pistol. He shot the tree in front of him big enough to make firewood. While Luffy was getting the firewood, Robin for her part was outside the cave waiting for Luffy to come back. Luffy came back carrying the large tree. Robin. Welcome back, Luffy, she said in a gentle voice. Luffy. Thanks, Robin. Luffy had broken the tree in half to place it on the ground as Robin helped him make a fire. The fire was lit as the cave they had now had light. They had to use the rocks as pillows and bedrocks as beds. Robin sat in front of the fire, feeling the warmth, and Luffy got up and was walking out the cave. Robin. Luffy, where are you going? Luffy. To get some food so we'll cook it. Robin. Cook it. Luffy. Yeah, I won't take long. Luffy walked out the cave going to the jungle. Robin smiled as she saw her captain going out to hunt. About 6 minutes later, Luffy came back with a boar and a bird for dinner. He also brought fruit. Robin. Good hunting, Luffy, I see you've been hunting pretty good. She smiled. Luffy. Shishi. Thank you. 50 minutes later the two were eating. Luffy was eating like he always does, while the normally calm Robin was eating like a lady. Luffy was done eating as he laid back on the ground. Robin was sitting up eating some fruit. She glanced at Luffy and said, Robin. Luffy. Luffy. Nah, Robin. Robin. What really made you like a pirate? Luffy sat up with his arms crossed. Luffy. Well, it all began when I was little. I met this legendary pirate. His name was Shanks. Robin's eyes widened. Robin. Red-haired Shanks, captain of the Red Hair Pirates. She said in disbelief. Luffy. Yes, that's him. Luffy glanced at his straw hat, remembering the time Shanks gave him this hat. Shanks. Remember our promise, Luffy, return that hat to me when you become a great pirate. Luffy was crying when his hero said that the memory ended. Robin. I see. Luffy. Yeah, I'll never forget that day. Robin. You do know Shanks is a uncle like Whitebeard. Luffy. Yeah, Grandpa told me at Water 7. Robin. Luffy, I'm happy to be with you. I will follow you to the very end, my pirate king. Luffy. So am I, my pirate queen. Robin and Luffy were still on the island. They camped in a cave as the two made love and went to sleep. Now it is in the morning. Morning. Luffy was the first to wake up. He glanced at Robin and said, Luffy. Oi. Robin wakes up. Wake up. The raven-haired beauty woke up looking at Luffy. Robin. I'm awake, Luffy, shall we go? Luffy. Yosh. Let's move. The two lovers went on to go look for a village in Marineford. Lucci makes his arrival in Marineford. The rest of CP9 follow him. CP9 still had some injuries from their fight with the Straw Hats. The Marines saluted as CP9 walked past them. Sengoku, Garp, Akiji, and the 5 Vice Admirals from the Buster Call attack on Eni's lobby were in a meeting room. The 5 Vice Admirals were Strawberry, Yamakaji, Doberman, Onagumo, and Mamanga. As the Marine officers were talking, CP9 came in, surprising all of them. Sengoku stared at Lucci. Garp gave the Leopard Zone user a smug look. Lucci bowed to Sengoku and said, Lucci. I have returned, Fleet Admiral Sengoku. Sengoku. Welcome back, Lucci. It's great seeing you back on your feet, Lucci. Sengoku forgives me for not killing the Straw Hat Pirates and letting the lobby get destroyed. Sengoku. It's okay, Lucci. I understand. I saw the report about Eni's lobby and your defeat. Lucci said nothing. Lucci. So what are you up to now? Sengoku. Well, Akiji. Well, we've been tracking down Monkey D. Luffy still. Lucci widened when Luffy's name was mentioned, and his eyes were filled with anger at his defeat by Luffy. Garp glanced at Lucci's cold look. Lucci. You're looking for Straw Hat, in a cold voice, the agent said. Sengoku. Of course. He must be put down for all the crimes that kid caused. Lucci. Is that so? In a cold voice. Akiji was looking through all of the Straw Hat's wanted posters. Lucci glanced at the posters. Lucci. Mind if I see those? Akiji. Oh, these, sure, in a lazy tone. Lucci took hold of the wanted posters and saw the whole crew and their bounties. He glanced at Luffy's, Zoro, and Robin's bounties. Lucci had interest in their new bounties. Sengoku noticed the look, so did Dot. Lucci. Sengoku. Sengoku. Yes, Lucci. Let me and my colleagues deal with the Straw Hats. Sengoku. You want revenge? Lucci. Yes, I will chase Nico Robin. She's the main problem. I will also kill Straw Hat. Sengoku grinned at this. Lucci. May I go after them, Sengoku? Sengoku. Go ahead, do whatever you want with them. With a smile he had on his face. Garp looked displeased with this. Garp. Sengoku, why not send our Marines? Sengoku. No, Garp, let CP9 deal with this. Sengoku. Lucci, you and CP9 can go after the Straw Hats. Lucci, however, grinned at this. Garp looked somewhat angry. Lucci. Can you give us a ship? Sengoku. Sure. CP9 had left the meeting room and went to get a Navy warship to go hunt the Straw Hats. When the agents took their leave, Sengoku looked pleased. Garp. I'm not liking this, he said in a dry tone. Back to the Straw Hats. There was screaming going on and crying on the 1,000 sunny days. Chopper. We miss Robin and Luffy. The young reindeer screamed with tears in his eyes. Usopp. We miss Luffy. Sanji. My poor Robin-chan is gone. The cook cried. Frankie. It's not super without Luffy and Robin around. The cyborg cried. Brooke. I miss Luffy-san. And Robin-san. I wish my eyeballs would cry if I had any, ho 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 ho. Nami was in tears as well on her knees. Zoro was the only one who wasn't crying or screaming. He had an agitated look on his face. Zoro. Shut up, all of you. The swordsman yelled at the crew. The crew stopped and stared at the green-haired swordsman. Zoro. Don't lose faith in our captain. Who knows if he or Robin died. They are probably stranded on some sort of island. Nami, you're our navigator, right? Nami. Why, yes, Zoro. Since I'm vice captain. We are going to look for Luffy and Robin. Even if it takes days, months, or even years. To find them. No more crying and screaming, we are looking for Luffy and Robin now. The crew just stared at Zoro with disbelief looks. Zoro. Well. Don't just stand there, let's get the ship moving. Frankie, ready the coop to burst. Nami, start navigating. Dartbrow, start cooking meals. Usopp. Help Frankie. Everybody get moving. Straw Hats. Right. The crew went on to look for their Luffy and Robin. Meanwhile, on the island with Robin and Luffy. Luffy and Robin, still looking for a village, they walked at least 12 miles around the island. Luffy groaned. Luffy. AHH. When will we find this village? We've been walking for hours. Robin giggled. Robin. Luffy, we've been walking for only 12 miles. Luffy. I know, but it's boring. The rubber boy fell on his knees on the sand. Robin stood next to her captain. Robin. I'll see if we can see anything with my Hana Hana ability. Robin used her Hana Hana ability to see if she could find a village with her powers. Robin scoped in as she saw something with her ability. It looked like a small town. It was at least 8 miles from the two lovers. Robin. Luffy, I think we found a village. Luffy got up and said, Luffy. Perfect. Let's get going. Robin, hang on to me. Robin. What for, Luffy? Luffy stretched his arms out, gripping his hands on a tree. Robin had an idea what Luffy was going to do. Robin was holding on to Luffy's torso. Luffy. Gum Gum Rocket. Them and Robin launched out in the air, going straight to the village entrance. The two landed in front of the gate. Robin. Good thinking, Luffy. She smiled. Luffy. Shy shishy. Thanks, Robin. Robin. You're welcome, Luffy. Luffy. We made it to a village at last. Robin glanced over as she looked around the small town. Villagers were around the small town. There were 2 restaurants, 3 clothing stores, 1 hotel, 1 bank, 1 school, 1 library, and last was town hall, plus there were docks for fishing boats and small boats. Robin glanced at the clothing store and library. Luffy glanced at the restaurant. The two went to the restaurant to eat. As the two were inside the restaurant, they walked up the bar. The cook of the restaurant saw the two lovers near the bar. Cook. Ah, welcome to my restaurant. How can I help you two? Are you new here? Robin. Indeed we are new, we were washed up. Cook. I see, well what can I get for you two? Robin. Catfish please with green tea as a drink. Cook. Okay. He was writing her order with a pen and handbook. The cook glanced at Luffy and said, Cook. Okay boy, what can I get you? Luffy. Steak please sided with ribs, and I want some booze sir. Cook. Alright, he was writing in his handbook for Luffy's order. Cook. Okay, your food and drinks will be out in a few minutes. Robin. Okay. Robin and Luffy sat next to each other looking at each other. Robin. You think the crew will find us? Luffy. Nah, maybe. Luffy. I'm sure they'll find us. With a grin he said. Robin smiled. Robin. You know Luffy, we could borrow a boat and try going off ourselves. Luffy. Well, I don't know how to navigate like Nami, so it's going to be a pain to navigate. Robin smiled as she laughed at how Luffy did not know how to navigate. Luffy. Well, we could borrow a boat still and try leaving this island. Robin. 8 minutes later their food was ready and began eating it. The two lovers paid for their food and left. Robin had gone to the clothing store to buy her a new outfit. She brought a light blue skirt and a blue sleeveless vest with 6 buttons and a bow tie on the upper part of the vest. I also brought sandals that were a little blue. She paid for her clothes and put them on. She went with Luffy to borrow a boat. They asked the man who owned the boats could they borrow one to go out in the sea. The man offered them a boat. As the two lovers got on the boat, they sailed off the island they were on and went to the sea. A week later on the sea. Robin had been reading a novel as Luffy was rowing the boat. They had been out in the sea for a week. It wasn't too long till the two lovers found land. Luffy. Ah, we found land again. Robin. Yes, true. Luffy. Let's check it out. Robin nodded. Back with the straw hats. The crew docked at an island as they were looking for Robin and Luffy. They entered the village Robin and Luffy were in a week ago. The crew had to ask any of the villagers if they had seen their captain with a straw hat and an older woman with long raven hair and blue eyes. The villagers haven't seen their captain and Robin. They asked a boat clerk about their captain and Robin. Zoro. Oi, have you seen a rubber boy with a straw hat and an older woman with blue eyes and with long raven hair? Boat clerk. I think I have seen them. Nami. Really? Sanji. When? Usopp. When did you last see them? Boat clerk. A week ago they took one of my boats and left the island. That was the last time I saw them. Zoro. Do you know which way they went? The clerk pointed that a way forward at the sea. Zoro. Thank you. Let's get back to the sunshine and go. Straw hats. Okay. The crew took their leave and went out to keep looking for Luffy and Robin. Robin and Luffy were on a different island as they gathered some fruit on their little boat. For going out in the sea, they sailed off into the seas. Thanks for watching this video. If you really enjoy this video, like, subscribe, and comment down below, and turn on that bell notification. See you in the next video. Goodbye.